Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit 2025 opens in Mumbai. Niti Aayog releases report highlighting challenges for enhancing MSMEs competitiveness in India. Social media influencer dies by suicide after losing followers. Novel CAR T therapy shows promising results in treating cancer. Odisha government launched Sahajog initiative for quick aid to urban poor. Gundaram Inscriptions discovered in Telangana shed new light on Satvahana period. The World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit, or WAVES 2025, was inaugurated in Mumbai, marking a significant moment for India's creative economy. During this summit, the Prime Minister emphasized the creative economy as a key driver of future GDP growth, innovation, and inclusive development. WAVES 2025 has set an ambitious target to unlock a $50 billion market by 2029, positioning India as a major global player in the entertainment economy. As part of this effort, the government announced the launch of the Indian Institute of Creative Technology, or IICT, aimed at strengthening the creative sector. The institute is being established by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in strategic partnership with FICCI and CII, and is envisioned as a national center of excellence. Now, what defines the creative economy? The term refers to an evolving concept that highlights the role of creative assets in contributing to economic growth and development. Often referred to as the orange economy, it includes a wide range of industries such as media and entertainment, advertising and marketing, animation, visual effects, gaming, comics, and extended reality, collectively known as AVGC-XR. Notably, the United Nations had declared 2021 as the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, underscoring its global significance. Focusing on the Indian landscape, the creative economy contributes approximately $30 billion to the GDP and employs around 8% of the workforce. India also records over $11 billion in annual creative exports. However, the sector faces several challenges. These include misinformation, issues around copyright, intellectual property and privacy, market monopolization, limited digital access in rural areas, and a lack of formal financing. To address these gaps, the government has launched multiple initiatives. A $1 billion Creative Economy Fund has been announced to provide financial support and infrastructure. In addition, the All India Initiative on Creative Economy, or AIICE, launched by the Indian Chamber of Commerce, aims to harness the untapped potential of India's creative industries. Furthermore, the National Creators Award has been instituted to recognize and promote the contributions of digital content creators, thereby encouraging innovation and creativity in the digital space. With such steps underway, WAVES 2025 signals a structured and strategic move towards positioning India as a global hub in the creative and entertainment economy. In a significant development, Niti Aayog has released a report highlighting the major challenges facing MSMEs in India, particularly when it comes to enhancing their competitiveness. This becomes even more relevant in the light of the Union Budget 2025-26, which recognizes MSMEs as a crucial pillar of India's economic growth, alongside agriculture, investment, and exports. Let's take a quick look at some key figures. The share of MSMEs in India's gross value added, or GVA, has risen from 27.3% in 2020-21 to 30.1% in 2022-23. In terms of sectoral contribution, MSMEs contribute a massive 36% to manufacturing and 45.7% to exports. And the growth in MSME exports tells its own story, rising from 3.95 lakh crore rupees in 2020-21 to a projected 12.39 lakh crore rupees in 2024-25. Now coming to their classification. Micro-enterprises have an investment of up to 2.5 crore rupees and a turnover of up to 10 crore rupees. Small enterprises go up to 25 crore rupees in investment and 100 crore rupees in turnover. And medium enterprises can invest up to 125 crore rupees with a turnover limit of 500 crore rupees. But despite these contributions and definitions, MSMEs continue to face several critical challenges. Let's break them down. First, formalization. According to ILO 2023, around 90% of the informal sector comprises MSMEs, highlighting a major challenge in bringing them into the formal economy. Then, there's access to finance. MSMEs face a massive 80 lakh crore rupees credit gap, mainly due to limited access to formal loans and a high risk perception, as reported by CRISIL. Another pressing issue is the skill gap. A 3.9% drop in knowledge-based hiring from around 13% is hampering growth and innovation potential. This has been noted in WIPO 2023. We also need to talk about data gaps. There's a lack of reliable data on MSMEs, especially regarding jobs and exports, which makes policy making difficult. Even the Udyam database lacks detailed insights. And finally, MSMEs are struggling with low product variety, outdated technology, and the persistent issue of the missing middle, that is, too few medium-sized firms in the manufacturing sector. So, how can we overcome these challenges? Let's start with finance accessibility. The report suggests reforming the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, that is CGT-MSE, supporting NBFCs and easing state-level subsidy norms. When it comes to skilling, training programs should be aligned with industrial needs, with a clear focus on financial literacy and business skills for MSME owners. On the data front, upgrading the Udyam portal with cluster-wise and state-level data has been suggested to guide better policy making. And lastly, in the area of technology and innovation, the report calls for targeted policies for small firms and strengthening institutes for collaboration, or IFC, to foster innovation. Clearly, MSMEs are not just small businesses. They are powerful drivers of India's economic progress, and empowering them means strengthening the core of India's growth story. In a tragic development, Misha Agarwal, a popular Instagram influencer, has died by suicide. Reports indicate that she had been struggling emotionally following a significant drop in her follower count. This incident has once again drawn attention to a growing concern: mental health challenges among social media influencers. Why is this important? To begin with, the influencer economy is no longer niche. According to a report by the UK House of Commons, the global influencer industry is now valued at $13.6 billion. That's a significant economic contribution. Beyond numbers, influencers are also modern role models. They shape trends, opinions, and behavior, especially among the youth. Their influence extends beyond the screen into how people think, act, and live. And yet, there's an overlooked mental health crisis. While research continues to examine how social media affects young users, the mental health of influencers themselves remains largely unexamined and unsupported. Why are influencers so vulnerable? Let's start with the gulf between real and virtual life. While their lives appear glamorous, filled with sponsored trips, brands, deals, and public adoration, the pressure to constantly post, engage, and perform turns it into a full-time job. The result is burnout, anxiety, and loss of privacy. Then there's the emotional toll of online validation. Influencers often tie their self-worth to likes, comments, and follower count. A drop in engagement, or worse, online trolling, abuse, or criticism can severely impact their mental health. This is compounded by toxic comparisons. Constant exposure to curated, idealized content, perfect lifestyles, and relationships can lead to harmful self-comparisons. Studies have linked this with higher levels of depression and anxiety, both in influencers and their followers. And despite their visibility, many influencers face stigma. Their profession is often dismissed or not taken seriously, adding to their emotional strain. As the digital economy expands and more lives move online, supporting the mental health of influencers must become a priority, not only for their well-being, but also for the millions they influence every day. In a major breakthrough, the HSP-CAR30 therapy, developed to target CD30 protein, has successfully completed its initial trial phase. This therapy is part of the broader field of CAR-T cell treatments, which are transforming how we approach cancer care. Now, you might be wondering, what is CD30 and why is it important? Well, CD30 is a protein found on certain T cells and B cells, which are two types of white blood cells. Its presence plays a crucial role in cancer diagnosis and treatment planning. As for T cells, their main function is cytotoxic, that is, they are designed to kill other cells. So, what makes HSP-CAR30 stand out? The early results have been encouraging. The therapy has shown a 100% overall response rate, with 50% of patients achieving complete remission. In terms of safety, it has shown no dose-limiting toxicities, and notably, CAR30 plus cells remained detectable in 60% of evaluable patients even 1 year after infusion. To understand the significance, let's briefly look at what CAR-T therapy is. Chimeric antigen receptor T cell therapy, or CAR-T, involves collecting a patient's own T cells from the blood and modifying them in the lab. A special receptor called CAR is added to these cells, enabling them to better recognize and destroy cancer cells. This approach has already proven effective against several blood cancers: acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. Let's turn to the advantages of CAR-T therapy. It offers the potential for long-term remission, reducing the frequency of treatments and significantly improving quality of life. Being a personalized treatment, it uses the patient's own modified T cells, which enhances effectiveness and minimizes side effects. Another key benefit: the entire process takes roughly 45 days. However, CAR-T therapy is not without its challenges. One of the major concerns is cytokine release syndrome, an inflammatory response caused by cytokines released from the infused CAR-T cells. This can result in widespread but reversible organ dysfunction. There's also the risk of neurotoxicity, which can range from headaches and confusion to seizures, cerebral edema, or even coma. Additionally, tumors can sometimes develop resistance through a mechanism called antigen escape, where they lose the antigen targeted by the CAR-T cells. The success of HSP-CAR30 in its initial trial is a promising step forward. While challenges remain, this development highlights the growing potential of CAR-T therapy in revolutionizing cancer treatment. In a major step towards addressing urban poverty, the Odisha government has launched the Sahajog initiative, a move aimed at providing quick aid to urban poor. So what exactly is Sahajog? The initiative focuses on identifying eligible beneficiaries in urban poor communities and connecting them to appropriate schemes through mass awareness campaigns, doorstep delivery of services, and more. Now let's take a moment to understand the broader picture of urban poverty in India. Just like rural poverty, urban poverty is deeply linked to inadequate access to employment, food, healthcare, and education. There's also the added challenge of a lack of voice in the communities where the urban poor reside. According to the Poverty and Equity Brief by the World Bank, the extreme poverty rate in urban India stands at 17.2% compared to just 2.8% in rural India. This brings us to an important question. Why is urban poverty more challenging? Firstly, it's about poorer living conditions. Many urban poor are forced to live in slums that lack even basic facilities like toilets, clean water, and proper ventilation. Secondly, essential services such as healthcare, education, transport, and housing are often expensive and difficult to access. Then comes a major barrier: documentation. A lack of ID or proof of residency can keep migrant workers out of welfare schemes. And unlike rural areas, there's no urban equivalent of Manrega, which leaves a critical gap in income support. Another unique aspect of urban poverty is the visibility of inequality. In cities like Mumbai, where Dharavi slum exists right beside luxury skyscrapers, the contrast is stark and often deepens the sense of deprivation among the poor. Also, while rural communities often benefit from close-knit social ties, urban areas tend to lack such support systems. This weakens social support, increases loneliness, and contributes to mental health issues. And finally, there's the issue of exclusionary urbanization. Urban planning processes usually ignore people living in informal settlements like slums, further pushing them to the margins. Now, in response to these challenges, several initiatives have been launched across India to tackle urban poverty. For housing, there's the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, aimed at ensuring housing for all. Under sanitation, the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation 2.0, or Amrut 2.0, is at work. In the area of employment and skill development, we have the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihoods Mission, and the PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi. When it comes to food security, the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme enables portability of ration cards across the country. And for healthcare, benefits are made portable under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, along with self-certification provisions under the PM Ujjwala Yojana. With the launch of Sahajog, Odisha has taken a critical step to bridge the urban welfare gap by bringing these schemes closer to those who need them the most. In a major archaeological breakthrough, 11 ancient inscriptions have been discovered in the Gundaram Reserve Forest of Telangana, opening a new window into the early Deccan's rich cultural and political landscape, spanning from the 1st century BCE to the 6th century CE. These findings are especially significant in the context of Satvahana period. Let's take a look at the key discoveries. First up, the Hariti Putra inscription. Written in early Brahmi script, this inscription points to a possible political alliance between the Satvahana and Churu dynasties, both contemporaries in ancient India. Moving on, there's a particularly fascinating find, a unique inscription that features a trident and damru. This marks the earliest known religious iconography in South India. What's more, it suggests an early association of political authority with symbolic religious elements, a significant insight into how rulers possibly used symbolism to assert power. Now, let's shift our focus to understanding the Satvahana dynasty itself. Also known as the Andhras, the Satvahanas ruled from the 2nd century BCE to the 2nd century CE, rising after the decline of the Maurya Empire in the Deccan region, which today includes parts of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Maharashtra. Let's talk about some of the prominent rulers. To begin with, Simukha, the founder of the Satvahana dynasty, overthrew the Kanav dynasty to establish their rule. Then came Gautamiputra Satkarni, under whom the dynasty reached its zenith. Known for his military victories against the Shakas or western satraps, he also played a crucial role in consolidating Satvahana power. The Nasik and Nanagarh inscriptions gave us valuable insights into his reign. Another notable ruler, Hala, is remembered for his literary contributions. The book Gat Saptasati, written in Prakrit. An interesting tradition seen among Satvahana rulers is the usage of their mother's name in their own names, a unique feature compared to other dynasties of the time. And finally, the Satvahanas were among the first Indian dynasties to issue coins that featured portraits of their rulers, giving us both artistic and political glimpses into their era. So, with the Gundaram inscriptions now adding a new layer of understanding, we continue to uncover the legacy of the Satvahana period, one inscription at a time. In today's Place in News, we turn our attention to Egypt with its capital, Cairo. Recently, India and Egypt strengthened their counter-terrorism cooperation during the 4th Joint Working Group meeting. Politically, Egypt is situated in the northeastern corner of Africa, sharing its borders with Libya to the west, Sudan to the south, and Israel to the northeast. It also has coastlines along the Mediterranean Sea to the north and the Red Sea and Gulf of Aqaba to the east. Geographically, Egypt is home to significant natural features including the Red Sea Hills and the Sinai Mountains. Its highest peak is Mount Catherine, which stands at 2,642 meters. The Nile River, one of the longest rivers in the world, flows through the country and is central to its civilization. Egypt's landscape also includes vast deserts like the Western Desert, Al-Sahara Al-Gharbia, and the Eastern Desert, Al-Sahara Al-Sharqiyya, which form part of the Sahara. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The United States has signed a deal with Ukraine granting it preferential access to the country's mineral and energy reserves, including upcoming oil and gas projects. Among Ukraine's valuable resources are rare earth elements, a group of 17 elements. They are found in abundance but are difficult to extract. The Centre has issued the Sugar Control Order 2025, replacing the 1966 Order to modernize regulations in the sugar sector. One of the key highlights of the new order is real-time data sharing through API integration between sugar mills and the Food Department portal. The Government of India has appointed a new chairman along with 7 new members in the National Security Advisory Board, or NSAB. NSAB was first constituted in December 1998 as an advisory body of eminent persons outside the government, including industry, media, and civil society, among others. The UN Office of Counter-Terrorism has launched VOTAN, a global network aimed at supporting victims and survivors of terrorism. The group of Friends of Victims of Terrorism, chaired by Spain and Iraq, was established nearly 6 years ago to uphold the importance of protecting victims' rights. The United States has approved a military hardware and logistics support package for India to support IPMDA. IPMDA is a technology and training initiative to enhance maritime domain awareness in the Indo-Pacific region and to bring increased transparency to its critical waterways. CBI launched Operation Hawk to crack down on global cybercrime networks involved in online child sexual exploitation. The operation follows Operation Carbon 2021 and Operation Megh Chakra 2022 to track suspects and dismantle such networks with international links. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and UNDP are collaborating under Waste Pickers component of the National Action for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, or Namaste scheme. UNDP is funding state project management units to help implement the scheme effectively. Lakundi Temple set to be finalized for UNESCO tentative listing as World Heritage Sites. Lakundi Temples is located in the Gadag district of Karnataka. Lakundi is referred to as Loki Gundi in ancient inscriptions. Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty received the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. The badminton pair reached the #1 rank in Badminton World Federation rankings in 2023 and clinched the Asian Games gold medal in Hangzhou. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.